Peace and blessings to Allah's mighty 5% nation of God's love to all the human families on the planet Earth. I bid you love, peace, and happiness. I salute. I am DJ KY's Allah, aka Kato the Black Superhero. Welcome to Real2reel360. Well, listen, my co-host with the most will be on momentarily, but we're going to flow on and go on like we're supposed to. Listen, we got a dynamic special guest for y'all this evening, so without further ado, I'm going to bring this great young man and artist on so he can introduce himself and we get to know him personally, up close and personal. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Raspberry Sky is in the building.
Hey, what's good? Thank you for the introduction. Thank you. I appreciate
Man, it's all good. It's all good, family. How you doing? First and
Good.
foremost.
Good. It's a beautiful sunny day in Cali.
All right. So listen, let's jump right into it. Why don't you go ahead and take this time out to introduce yourself to our followers, our fans, and likers and subscribers, so they can know who Mr. Raspberry Sky is and what he about.
For sure. So I go by the R&B Viking, but you can also find me on all platforms as Raspberry Sky. That's the R&B Viking. That's what it is.
I like that R&B Viking. I like that though. How'd you pull with that one?
So, it's funny. I was actually born in Germany, and I'm probably 98% Scandinavian, Norwegian, and then the other 2% is Cherokee and Choctaw. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. But I always say I was also raised on the islands of Hawaii, so I always say the Viking DNA made me, the islands raised me. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, what part of Germany was you born in?
I was born in Landstuhl, Kaiserslautern.
Landstuhl, K-Town. Yeah.
K-Town. My dad was in the military.
So was I. I was over there them days.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was in the 80s. My dad was over there.
Yeah. I was stationed in Mannheim.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we were over there, and then my dad had orders to go to Hanau.
Hanau. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we lived in Erlensee. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, there was some good days back then, I tell you.
Yeah. Good days and good food.
yeah. So let's get started, man. When did you get started into the music biz?
Professionally, I signed my first demo deal at 13 when I was on the islands, with a company called Homeless Records. Stephen Hicks and Hiram Hicks. Stephen Hicks was in the military, and he was basically piggybacking off of his brother who owned Homeless Records in Oakland. Okay. And if you ever heard I Got Five on It, Drew Down, Loonies, Yuck Mouth. Mm-hmm. So that was all them. But he opened up a record label, like a sister company on the islands. And so that was my first taste of being in the industry, so to speak. So I was 13 when I did that, signed a couple distribution deals, and then then had to leave the islands to make it happen. So yeah.
So what was the first bug that drew you into the music, though?
The first bug that drew me into the music it's actually a crazy story. I was I was listening to, not to shame myself, but I was listening to New Kids on the Block, and then I went over my best friend's house, my best friend Marcel, and his dad came in from outside, and he was playing Prince, Erotic City. First time ever hearing Prince. And I said, "Who's that?" And he was like, "Boy, you don't know nothing about no Prince." And that was my first. And then every single time I'd go over their house, they were playing the Commodores, Prince, Al Green, Donny Hathaway, Stevie, just a bunch of legends of soul and funk and R&B. And that really stuck to me really heavy throughout my childhood, all the way until I became a teenager, and then really start dabbling in it. But yeah.
All right. So do you remember, do you write most of your songs, lyrics, music, and do the music yourself, or you have entrepreneur people with you?
No, I produce, write all my own stuff. I learned all of that really through Prince, just being and Donny Hathaway actually too, and Stevie actually. So I mean, they were all amazing creators, and I really decided I wanted to be able to write. I wanted to be able to create my own music, So that's really what got me real focused on the production and writing aspect of it. You
Wow.
know. Yeah.
You remember the first record you ever, your first, well, put it this way, you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yeah, I was, I was actually co-writing it with someone. I was like 13, and Money Can't Buy You Love. That's what it was. Money
Okay.
can't buy you. Well, what does a 13-year-old know about that?
Yeah, that's what's up.
Uh,
So, and you said you recorded actually at 13 as well. Did your first one?
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Because of technology back then, we were recording. This is right when tape was starting to fizzle out, and we were starting to get the ADATs and the hard disk recorders. And
Mm-hmm.
this is before like computers were really making their way. And yeah, I remember just being posted up in an apartment, bunch of military guys watching me sing. So, and I just had it in the apartment, sitting there with a hard disk recorder, a Roland VS 880. That's what it was called. And then we just,
Yeah.
yeah, laid down the record with that.
So what was it like for you the very first time performing live? How was that for you?
It was a catastrophe. I'll tell you. The first time I performed live, it was funny. It was at a comedy club, and I was very anxious, nervous. My first time doing it, and it was just I felt like deer in headlights. I went up on stage. I'm being straight up. My knees were buckling. I was It was crazy. I got through the whole song, no problem, but all I saw was a spotlight. And then after, I did two nationwide tours independently. So, I've been to, 25 cities each tour. So I've gotten my chops up and my performance up for sure. But yeah, that was the first time was crazy. That was crazy.
Man, this is the kind of things we like to hear like that, man. Live and experiences. Um,
Yeah.
did you ever get any hiccups outside of being deers in the headlights? Did you ever find yourself that you have any hiccups? Have you ever forgotten any of your lyrics?
Oh, I do that. I do that all the time because I make so many records. So here's the thing: I have like 160 unreleased records right now that I've made in the last like 6 months. 160 songs
Wow.
in the last 6 months. So
Yeah.
I forget my lyrics all the time, and I just freestyle it, and it still goes. But yeah, it's funny because I don't even remember the titles to my songs. You know why? I guess it's like for me, I grew up learning like the Prince vault mentality. So it's just like, okay, I'm here to build a legacy and make as much music as possible. And
Mhm.
if I was given the gift of music, it's really for me just to give it out to the world to receive. So
Okay.
it's not for me to really, take, ownership of it really is to really give it out to the world for them to receive and listen to it and, have their opinions.
All right. All right. Well, with that being said, we're gonna jump in one of the lyrics, one of the song titles. I'm sure I'm gonna remind you of, and after we hear it, we're gonna talk about it. This one here is gonna be touched. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy the smooth sounds of the R&B Viking. Let's go. I'm loving that right there.
I've been thinking about your love and ain't gonna waste no time. Cause with that body so amazing, girl, you blow my mind. When I wake up in the morning, baby, that sexy you is something I want. Knowing that you want it, baby, I can't wait to come home to get some of this good loving. I keep kissing on that neck, with my fingers down your back. Do you like it right there? Like that? I know that you like it. was touched by. Just let the cosmos guide the way. We lost track of time. When I wake up in the morning, baby, yeah, that sexy you is something I want. Knowing that you want it, baby. I can't wait to come home to kiss some of this good love. I keep kissing on that neck, run my fingers down your back. Do you like it like that? I know that you like it. So let me feel deep inside, 'cause I hold me close, feel my love and all over you. Over you. Just one touch ain't enough when I'm loving you. Ain't enough. Hold me close, feel my love and all over you. Over you. Just one touch ain't enough when I'm loving you. I'm loving you, loving you, loving you. I'll be loving you, loving you, loving you. I'm loving you, loving you, loving you. I'll be loving you, loving you, loving you. Just one touch. Just one
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been touched right there with my boy, the R&B Viking, Raspberry Skies in the building, man. Let's go behind the magical thoughts about touch. How you brought that to vision?
You know, it's crazy. So every single record I do, I don't write from a personal place. It's the craziest thing. I write from like a visual space where I almost feel like I get downloads. I call them downloads. So it just from the universe, whatever comes through. I always write from a music video perspective. So I'm always seeing things visually, and that's how I write these records. You know, it's never like something introspective. It's never from there. It's always more of like creating music visuals and colors in my mind, and then getting the downloads.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. So what are some of the say stumbling blocks that you have discovered in your whole time as far as an artist and a writer and everything? What are some of the stumbling blocks?
You know, as far as stumbling blocks creatively or like marketing wise,
We
because
can go on both sides of the
oh,
coin.
okay, cool. So
Yeah.
creatively, I feel like because I don't write from a personal space, I don't get writer's block, just because everything is on the fly off the top. Um, but I will say, from a marketing standpoint, as an independent artist, the game has changed so much from what it used to be in the 90s. And you know, to really get out there, you know, even with me going live all the time, you know, I've amassed like 15 million views on TikTok, and we're about to hit a million likes, and I got like 100, I don't know, 76,000 followers. But that doesn't always mean that it's going to move the needle on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere else. People, you know, people see the views and they're just like, oh, well, you have this many views. Well, that doesn't always equate to people listening to the records, you
Right.
know. So from a marketing standpoint, you know, it's all about. I say I want to earn my fans one by one. That's been a important thing for me. I want to have a direct to fan relationship with my fans. I don't, you know, so I have my own app. I got all these things that I've been, you know, building up so that when I go release all these records that I'm about to release, that they'll be able to have a mass of that, you know, because like I said, as independent artists, it's really hard to really move the needle unless you got like big budgets. You know what I mean? You know, you come through with a couple $100,000, we can get you on urban top 40 everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Big machine is something else, ain't it?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So throughout your travels and times, man, who are some of the artists that you have worked with, and who would be some of the ones you would like to work with?
I would have loved to work with Prince. You know, Prince was such a magical, not only creative visionary, but like he was just so magical as a person. Just to be in the same room, just to get some of that energy rub off would be crazy. But you know, personally, the person that found me actually on Instagram was Carl Thomas. So would love to do a collab with Carl Thomas. Um, any collabs with the people that I was influenced by, Boys to Men, Tank, um, you know, anyone of that stature for sure. Anybody that's really dived in deep in the '90s R&B, Drew Hill, Jagged Edge, all the '90s R&B cats. I would love to do a collab with him because I'm big on '90s R&B. We sort of lost that whole thing about R&B being sensitive and vulnerable. And when the intros came on, you knew exactly the records that you'd be listening to. All that's gone now. So I want to bring that all back because it was a beautiful time in R&B.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was, man. There we had some fire groups. I think a lot of groups more than individuals made more marks to me within the '90s era.
Yep.
In the '80s, it was a lot of solo artists, and the '80s, '70s, '80s, you had your mixture of you mainly had your solo artists who gained mass fame because they were once part of a group, but now when they went in on their solo careers, they just
Yep.
skyrocketed out the
Yep.
box. And then
Yep.
the groups came in, and like I said, I don't care what nobody says. Um, Once R. Kelly came in, it was over.
Yeah. Yep.
When R.
Yep.
Kelly came in, it was over. And I'm not taking nothing away from anybody else, but the man is a genius.
Oh no, for sure. I've always said that, like, my top people. I say it on my live all the time is Carl Thomas, Tank, R. Kelly, Boyz II Men, and Prince. Those are my people that I like really absorb. And R. Kelly, regardless of how he is, who he is as a person, you can't take away from the art
Exactly.
that the writing, the
Yes.
the songwriting of that is just so great. Like, you have to be special to write. I mean, just write the records the way that he was writing them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny. I'd get in debates, big like squabbles and debates over in on the islands when Drew Hill and Jagged Edge, all of the groups were coming out. I was always for the solo artists, the underdogs. I was always like, nah, Carl Thomas is sensitive with it. He's emotional. You know, these guys, you go, man, he's in a turtleneck. You know what I mean? So he's sitting there. Carl Thomas was amazing to me. Just the
Yeah.
way that he would enunciate his words and hold on to the lyric. So, but yeah, just an amazing time in R&B. And I'm so glad that they're coming back out with new material because I feel like Tank sort of pushed, especially with the R&B Money tour, he started pushing R&B back to the forefront. And then I started seeing, oh, okay, Jagged Edge is putting out new records. Okay, all these people are putting out new records, so it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Peace, peace. Here go my brother with my name on it.
Man, listen, I don't know why they do that. But
Yeah.
peace,
What's
how you
good,
doing,
bro? What's good?
Raspberry Sky? What's good with
hey,
you,
what's
brother?
good? What's good,
Huh?
man?
What's good
What's
with you,
good, bro?
man?
Good, good.
Everything, man. Same old two-step, man. Better later than never. That's the way I look at it. Better
Yeah,
later than
absolutely.
never, man.
So to
There you
catch
go.
you up, I don't know how much if you've been catching up, but to keep you up to speed, man, Raz was on it, man. We just talked about R. Kelly, the '90s, man, the '90s era. He loves Prince and Boys the Men and all of the cats, man. Carl Thomas, he's killing it. And I played the first joint we touched on was called Touch
Uh-huh.
and stuff. So, what we gonna do? We gonna pause for a cause. We are gonna jump into another joint. This one here is one of the hot ones out in the streets called Hours and Hours. So we gonna do this right here, Raz.
All right, let's get it.
I was an outcast. I was an outcast. I was an outcast. I was an outcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shrimp and lobster plates ain't gon' be nothing when I'm in. Be craving your dessert, this tidal wave, just let me swim. I love how you make that face sexing in the morning. Yeah. The silk sheets upon your skin feels just like we floated. Yeah, I can't go. I was in hours with you. I was in hours with you. So baby, tell me how you want it. Let me put you on it, get you on my schedule right tonight. I'm only on top of the moment. Just tell me you want it. I know that you're feeling this vibe tonight. I can't go. Girl, just hit me up on my way. No need to play along. I'll be over in a minute. Girl, get ready. We gon' get it on. I love how you make that face sexing in the morning. Yeah. The silk sheets upon your skin feels just like we floated. Yeah. I can't go. I was in hours. I was in hours with you. I was in hours with you. So baby, tell me how you want it. Let me put you on it, get you on my schedule. Tonight, I'm only on top of the moment. Just tell me you want it. I know that you're feeling this vibe. Tonight, I can't go. I can't go. I can't.
I was now, boy. Let's
I
get
was
it.
nice.
Yo, I tell you, man, you have a very smooth sound, bro. You know what I'm
Thank you. I
saying?
appreciate
And you know it's and one thing I will say, looks be deceiving because I tell you, they definitely be like looking at you like you want to do some hip hop or something. You know what I mean? Not knowing that you will come out on your John B status.
Exactly. So, you know what's funny about that? It's so funny when Wanye from Boys to Men, when he first heard me, he sent me a video. He was like, "Hey man, when I first heard you, I thought you were gonna do some country or some or some pop." He's like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yo, you that yeah." I think that's why another reason why I call myself the R&B Viking because
Hmm.
it's like the carpet don't match the drapes.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So so people when they see me, they're like, they don't believe it.
Right.
They don't. Yeah, like I be having to prove to people. It's funny.
Because I'm telling you, like when I first saw the you know what I'm saying, your interview with Chief, you know what I'm saying, it was like, okay, then was talking R&B. I said, R&B? The hell? You know what I mean? It threw me off. And then when I started hearing the tracks, I was like, oh, okay, I see what it is now. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? I
sir.
see what it is
Yes,
now.
It's not
sir.
Yeah.
Z. It's not ZZ Top.
Nah,
No,
it's
no,
definitely not
no.
ZZ.
ZZ Top. Yeah.
Or what's Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
none of that. You know what I mean? None of that. But definitely, that's why you have to take your time out to really pay attention to the music because your music can open doors for you and then people will will see you because your sound is mellow, you know what I'm saying, laid back, very soft, sensual, you know what I'm saying, of a style. And just on the look, you would think it'd be more aggressive, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, more of aggressive style. But what was it about R&B that really, what I'm saying, resonated with, what I'm saying, you?
I think the biggest thing about R&B, I always say it's, I learned it from Tank, but Sex, Love, and Pain, it's really a huge thing about R&B is the sensuality and the vulnerability of it. That's something that I learned a long time ago. Listening to all these records, they made they made a woman feel confident about themselves. They made a man feel confident about themselves, and it was that confidence that oozed out in the '90s, which was such a huge influx of that R&B. And that's why, like I always say, I want to bring that feeling back because, it's cool to do these trap R&B records. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there's a void in a lot of my raspberries. I call them raspberries, the fans of the Raspberry Sky, fans. But they always say like there's a void missing, and a lot of them are craving that sensitive and vulnerable R&B again. You know.
Definitely. Now that is 100%, because music dictates the relationships. You know what I'm saying? If your music is sensual, your relationship is going to be sensual. If it's going to be romantic, whatever the case may be, if it's going to be growl growl, it's going to be some fighting going on up in there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as the old adage says, you know what I'm saying, music, you know what I'm saying, what calms the savage beast. So we grew up in a period in time where that R&B that you speak of, you know what I'm saying, that's how we was able to date and talk to girls and stuff like that, and what I mean, put us
Yep.
in that type of a mode. And now it's like everything is so vulgar and out in the open. There's no wordplay, there's no there's no sensuality, there's no game to be taken from the situation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So of course I applaud you for, what I'm saying, the things that you are, what I'm saying, doing in the music industry, because you're bringing that back as well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Getting the getting the opportunity to go dancing. When the last time have you seen a man and woman on the dance floor do, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth? There's no music for that.
No music for that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah. Yep.
saying?
Been too long. Yeah.
And now it's getting to the point where you got to work harder because everything is a line dance.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yep.
line dancing. I saw over the weekend, everybody's line dancing. I don't care what song it is, there's a line dance to it.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I see Crip walking line dancing. It was crazy to me. I was like, yo, this is getting out of hand. When
Yeah.
when they start throwing their elbows up and start doing this here, it's really going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but what are some of the things? What are some of the things that you could say that you want to accomplish with your music?
I was saying this earlier. I feel like ever since I was a little kid, there was some sort of musical gift that was given to me. I really didn't foster it until I was a teenager and actually into, maybe into my 20s. Um, but what I want to accomplish is building a legacy for my son. I lost my best friend. I was talking about earlier. My best friend, his name was Marcel, and I lost my best friend to gun violence. Back in 1999. So that's why my name is Raspberry. The first part of it is Prince. The Prince, I would say, almost like an homage to Prince. And then the second part of my name, Sky, is from my best friend and brother Marcel, who I lost. And my son carries his name. So my son's name is Marcel. So what I want to accomplish with this music is build a legacy for my son, my family, and I want to bring R&B back to the forefront in that '90s R&B, sensitive, vulnerable R&B. I just want to build a legacy and make as much music as I can make before it's my time to disembark this planet. You know what I mean? So,
Definitely,
yeah, I
definitely.
you know I was saying earlier I have like 160 unreleased records of songs in the past like 6 months. So I'm real heavy in the studio. I spend all my days in the studio. I go live almost every night live in the studio. So
Now, who were some of your musical influences?
my biggest influences is Prince, Carl Thomas, Tank, R. Kelly, and Boyz II Men.
He said R. Kelly, not Robert Kelly, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
He said R. Kelly, not Robert Kelly. Just be
We
mindful.
we could call them Kels too.
When it comes down to it, we talked about the legacy you want to leave for your son, the message you want to leave, you know what I'm saying, for the people. But what is it that you want to do for Raspberry Sky?
For Raspberry Sky, you know, I just want to build a community of people that love R&B as much as I love R&B. You know what I mean? Because that was something that was instilled in me when I was a young kid, and I understand I'm a guest in the house. So my whole thing is I want to bring awareness to R&B. I want to keep R&B strong. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that that stays and that resonates and that, because understanding that I am a guest in that house, I want to make sure that I leave no crumbs. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that I'm out there doing the best that I can do and putting it at the forefront. And then also just showing fans that there's still independent artists that truly care for their fans. They're like, well, I really check on my fans. I really have that direct to fan relationship. That's really important to me, and my fans know that. I do private, intimate concerts and shows. Sometimes I tell people when I go on my nationwide tour, it doesn't matter if I'm performing for one person, 1,000 people. I'm gonna put on the same show, and I'm gonna give the same love. That's what it is. So for me to build that, I just want to keep building Raspberry Sky's brand, um, and I want to get into dabble into some other things like liquor and colognes and all those things, clothing line and all that. But first comes the music, always first and foremost, for sure.
Now, with the music, and things have changed from the time when I embarked and my brother embarked in music for as, you know what I'm saying, now everything is streaming and everything, you know what I'm saying, for sales and everything else. What are some of the obstacles you had to hurdle over while you've been in the music industry?
Even now, uh, I always say like streaming, you're getting pimped out. Really streaming. The reality is, and a lot of there's a disconnect, and the fans don't really know this. And I always talk about it on my life. If a fan of mine plays my song every day for a year, I get 1 penny. 1 penny. There ain't no economics in that.
Right.
So, um, you would be ignorant and naive to think that that's how you're going to make your bread. So in this world now, we have to change up how we approach our fans. So going on tour, doing merch, getting them to subscribe to your brand is way more valuable than a stream. A stream is like almost like a calling card now, like a business card.
Right.
I don't even really look at it like as a source of income. It's just there to just do its thing. Um, for me, it's more about getting that direct attention from the fans and the direct connection with the fans. Because even if you're popping, like let's say you got 1 million streams a month on Spotify, you don't know who they are. You can maybe see the cities they're in, but you don't know. Hey, Melissa in Atlanta, she's listening to your records on a regular. You don't know that. You
Right.
just know, okay, there's 300 people in Atlanta. They're listening to your records. There's 500 people, whatever. So I want more of the data. I want more of the analytics. I want to have more of that. You know what I mean? I want to have that
Definitely.
process.
Now, when you talk about the streaming and the marketing and branding, and that goes into understanding your business
Yeah.
more so than anything else. Understanding your business. What was the journey of learning these things? You know what I'm saying? Coming up, did you? We all get burnt in some way, shape, form, or fashion, but was there opportunity where it made you step back and say, "Yo, I got to really learn how to market and brand my own personal brand"?
Realistic. It was actually when I was like 13. When I was 13, um, That was the first actual situation where I was like, okay, I got to do this and figure this out. Because when I was 13, I signed my first demo deal, and once I got out of that demo deal after like 6 months or a year, then I was like, okay, well, I still have to pay to make demos. So then I was like, okay, I'm 13 years old. I don't have money to be dropping no money like that. So, um, I basically, this is no joke. I bought it's called like a Roland PM5, which was like a pin machine, and you would take a pin and you would punch in the MIDI notes on it. I had that. I had a Fostex 4-track cassette recorder. That's what I started out with. And then when I saw that that label had a Roland VS880, then I saved up enough money to buy the Roland VS880, and it recorded like 8 tracks. And then I was watching MTV, and I saw Timbaland with a Korg Triton, and I was like, I told my dad, "Hey, I want a Korg Triton," and then the price on it was like $4,800. Yeah, so that didn't happen. So then I had to work for it. But I eventually was able to save up enough money working in my dad's detail shop to buy a Korg Triton. And I just had to learn the process along the way because no one was going to pay my way. I had to figure it out on my own. And every step of the way, I just kept reinvesting it back in myself to where I have, right now I have my own recording studio. I do everything myself: mixing, mastering, recording, producing, writing. Um, because out of necessity more than anything else. You know,
Now, how did you learn the production part of the music?
the production part, it's all just by ear. It's all by ear, all by ear. I don't know notes, nothing,
No.
no notes. You tell me play C sharp, I don't know what, but I can hear it.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I can hear all the notes. So yeah.
Now, how important is it to have an individual in the studio with you while you're recording to hear the sound and hear how the song is going to help with, you know what I'm saying, the production part of it?
I'm probably one of those weirdos that like to sit in the studio by myself. You know how like Prince would say, "I tell everyone get out."
Yeah, right.
you know. But yeah, I was definitely one of those people that would like to, um, hang out by himself in the studio for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, a lot of times we well, we deal with a lot of people with Southern Soul, and with Southern Soul, a lot of times they get tracks, they get beats, and they go in the studio, and sometimes they need a little direction with the way it's supposed to sound and how it's supposed to
Yeah.
resonate and different things like that. So I was wondering, was that one of the situations also when you're dealing with your music?
I also write for other artists as well. So for major labels and also independent labels. For me, that's never been really a difficult process. I would say more so is like the personalities in the room. Reading the room is real important. As a producer, on the not as an artist, but as a producer writer, you definitely got to read the room and see where everyone's at. See where everyone's at, skill set wise, personality wise, because nothing is worse than having a vibe killed in the studio
Right.
before. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's always about making the artist feel like they got it. So that's for me when I take that into my own approach as well as with other artists as well when I'm in the studio. It's about hyping them up. It's about so I hype myself up. I get myself hyped up for sure.
Now, how important is it to have like listening parties when you do music?
I think listening parties are important to fans. For other industry people, I almost feel like sometimes the listening parties, because everybody has opinions, right? So then
Right.
what happens is sometimes in these listening parties, you'll get people that might not be understanding your vision. So then they'll be throwing out opinions, and then as an artist, the artist in you would be second guessing. He's like, oh man, should I really, man, should I recut those vocals? or oh, should I have hit that run right there, or man, maybe I should reproduce this. So a lot of times, I feel like on an industry level, people get in the way. But from a fan's perspective, I do that all the time, where I'll give little snippets to my fans. I do it almost every night live, so it's just like, okay, what are my fans feeling? Are my fans really loving this? I can tell by the way that their comments are. When they're they're my biggest. When they talk about the think tank, and they talk about like getting people in the room to sort of pick the singles. My fans help me do that because I can see how they're vibing to the records that I'm making.
Definitely,
You know.
definitely. Um, I want to let you know, like, do we have one more song, Kay?
Yeah, we got two more actually.
Let's get to them.
Yep. So this is going to be right here. We're going to jump into it. This is off of his new album, though. New album. And we're going to roll with Perfect Crime.
It's on the red tonight, babe. Work is dead tonight. There's something in the air. We don't even care what's wrong or right. Yeah. Hold up, girl, you make me act a fool, baby, just like that. Got me with the switching lanes, now why you popping like that? Traffic said you on a mission, too fast. We gon' crash. 100 on the dance. I don't wanna lose my mind, babe. So reckless, yeah. I've been waiting all this time. Got that sex on my mind. Could your love hit the perfect ground? Perfect ground. Could your love the ground? Could your love hit the perfect ground? Could your love hit the perfect ground? There's nothing better than life, babe. To taste this boys, it's right, babe. And I don't even care what lingers in the air. It feels so right. Yeah. Well, hold up, you gon' make me act a fool, baby, just like that. Switch positions, fuck me crazy while you riding like that. Baby, say you wanna miss it too fast. We gon' crash 100 on the dash. Yeah. Don't wanna lose my mind. Yeah. I've been waiting all this time. Got that sex on my mind. Could your love hit the perfect ground? Could your love hit the perfect ground? Could your love hit the perfect ground? Could your love hit the perfect ground?
Yeah, that's perfect right there, ladies
Mm.
and gentlemen. Perfect Crime. Perfect
Hey.
Crime. Raspberry Sky, a.k.a. the R&B Viper. Yeah. Think you on mute? You on mute, John. Okay. Benny Goop, man. Raz. So, like, what brought you out to Cali, by the way? And say coming from.
So when I was living on the islands, I had to make like a last minute like decision of like, okay, do I want to really do this music? How bad do I want it? And I left the islands. I left all my friends. I left everything. I had a duffel bag like $900, and I moved to LA. I took a one-way ticket to LA, and I was couch surfing for a little bit, and I moved up to the Bay Area, and then just hustling, trying to make, doing the music thing, and then I got a break in 2009. I released my first album, Dangerous, and that landed me on the Kardashians. So then on the Kardashians, then that was able to get me down to LA. So when I was down in LA, I was doing like, producing and writing for Bad Girls Club,
Hey,
Kardashians.
Rash, we got like a little bit of latency between you and the mic. So there's a little bit of static coming.
Yeah, it's like it's ooh, the mic is staticky. Mm, mic is real staticky. Yeah, but yeah, Kay, go ahead and play the other song.
All right, this one is it's Marco Polo.
Let's go.
Thinking about that loving, what you doing tonight? You know that you're alone, so won't you come on over? Know that you're the star, just what I need in my life. So girl, just come on over and tell me what you want. We can get into some things, babe. Losing them strings after fun as we fall. Turning the rock, rearrange things. Looking at me as I'm beating it up. You want some soft, cool love, but you know I don't think the same. Girl, let's stop by playing games like Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Been dreaming about that body when I'm deep down inside. I'm loving how you ride it. You stare at me excited. So when I take control, you know you gon' be alright. There's no need good about it. Don't knock it till you try. We can get into some things, babe. Losing them strings, having fun as we fall. Turning around, rearrange things. Looking at me as I'm beating it up. Want some soft, cool love, but you know I don't think the same. Girl, let's stop by playing games like Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away. Marco, Polo, Tati, Solo. It's a game you wanna play. We let our love and get away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
Marco
yeah,
Polo.
yeah. Marco Polo, Marco Polo. What's going on? Hey, K, man, we come to the end, man. It's time to get us up out of here, big bro. You know what it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. But ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the building, hope
I don't
Oh,
know what's
Raz,
going
what's
on.
good, man? I
I
don't
don't know
either,
what's
bro. But I was telling my brother, man, that we was coming to the end, and I want to thank all those who have been watching on Facebook, or who will be watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter as well. You know what I mean? And thank you for coming on. And we would
Absolutely.
love to redo this here because we had a lot of little feedback here and there in the thing. So if you ever get any time, you know what I'm saying, where we can get back and get this straightened out and bring you back on, and let's get this here done right, and let's make
Let's
sure
make
we
it.
represent.
Yeah, for sure.
You
For
know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
Because where you
I
at
got
right
you.
now?
I'm in Southern Cali right now, but I live up in Sacramento.
Oh man, you in the mountains?
Yep.
You in
But
the
not right
mountains.
now though. I'm in Palmdale right now.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I'm
my
in
cousins
Palmdale
out
right now.
there. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
peoples out there. I got family out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But big bro, you know what time it is, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, Raz, man, R&B Viking. I gotta get it. It catches me every time, man. Thank you so much for tuning in, man, and coming in on our
Absolutely.
live, man, and sharing the experience. We want you to definitely come back. We're gonna make sure we make that happen. And to
Yes.
all your fans out there, let them know where they can find you or follow you, so that way everything is kosher magnetic.
Absolutely. You can find me anywhere. Just type in Raspberry Sky Music. You can find me on all platforms. Raspberry Sky Music. You can also hashtag Razbay in Google. You find me? Just type in that Razbay, Razbae. You find me.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am DJ KY Zala, aka Kato, the Black Superhero. That's my brother, like none other, Josh Melala, aka Mr. PhD. Ooh, and he's on me. But we are Real 360, ladies and gentlemen, man. If we're gonna catch
Yeah.
y'all, we will see you when we see you. We are Audi 5000, man. Y'all take care. Peace and blessings.
All right. Much love.